If you had a message for English learners right now, what would you like them to know? It's a very similar situation that you were in 20 years ago.
It would be, well, take your time. It does take time. It takes new experiences. So don't be afraid or hold back to just getting out there. And it's always been my advice to people, just like speak to somebody, go order food, like practice. Practice is what makes the English flow. So, but just believe your potential. You're not less great because you sound different, and you will sound better with time, but it does take practice. So that's my advice, to always continue to invest in yourself and your vocab, read a lot, and challenge yourself.
I didn't know a thing, not one thing about the U.S. I didn't know the culture, the food. I remember when I spoke to my parents, I would ask them about um, TV shows, like what they would watch, and that's all I knew about it.
Every part of the world are the same. You want your kid to be successful, but I feel like here they encourage the kids to be more successful than over there, because over there they really don't care if you want to learn or not. If you didn't learn, you're good. They're good to go. They pass the session. They keep on going in the class. If you didn't learn, you're you're just there. You didn't learn. That's good. The kid that learned, they're successful.
So I am currently a city councilor in the city of Everett. I'm Everett's first Latina city councilor, and like one of the first Brazilians in the U.S. to actually be run in public office. It's an important time for our community because we came, we worked those manual labor jobs. Now we have been able to bring the family. Now we have been able to send the family to college, and now we have the first Brazilian people in elected office, the first police officers, the first, in different positions. So I'm very grateful to be able to bring that perspective to a city that is as diverse. So whatever we do as a city, we can do it in a way that fits everybody to the best of our abilities. So I'm very happy to be in this position.
That was the first time I ever flew in the plane, so it was like difficult getting used to. And finally, like, when we finally got to America, to the United States, where we reside in Massachusetts and Everett, and we still been living here for quite some time. So it was difficult, but just adjusting to weather and just coming from like hot, humid in Haiti to now coming to cold winter nights, and just I was still like learning the whole language thing. So I was shy just to read out loud, and like just me standing in front of everyone, just like having to read was kind of like difficult. And also I'm still like learning the English language, and I was still stuck in like, oh, Creole. I'm not from it. I'm not. My language is not strong enough for me to like prepare myself to be ready in front of students. So it was kind of like difficult just doing that.
All my sixth grade teachers, they were really fair and they were really nice. But in seventh grade, yeah, cause like a teacher kind of insulted me, and I didn't really like that. But from that insult, I kind of like better myself and like got to another level of learning and like made myself better. That's she called me ignorant, and to me that's a really offensive word. But after she called me that, I went on the dictionary and looked up what ignorant means, and everybody are like everybody, all of us are ignorant, in some topic, because ignorance, it doesn't mean that you're stupid. It means that you don't know a certain topic, and that's how I took it, because when she called me that, it really hurt. But after I learned the meaning of the word, I flipped it and took it the right way. Even though that's not what she meant, she really tried to like call me stupid, and I didn't really like that.
Moving here illegally, there's a lot of traumas that come in the way along the way. You leave your family behind. Uh, you leave friends behind. You leave your culture. You leave your country. You leave everything behind to uh, a new life, a new beginning. I think a lot of the kids and a lot of the people that do end up moving here, they kind of want to focus on mostly working. Um, if they don't have any family here, like I've met a lot of students at Everett High that they were living by themselves. Like imagine yourself being a 16, 17, 18-year-old, pretty much having to fend for yourself in terms of rent, food, uh, learning a new language, getting a job, and then trying to come to school and just get that out of your way. It's really it's tough. A lot of the things that kids do over there are completely different than what kids do over here. You know, it's either they're trying to survive so they have a job after that, or unfortunately they get themselves involved in things that no kid should be involved in. Everybody that we grew up with, got themselves involved in gangs or drugs or things like that.
What was it like the first day in school at the Parlin School?
I'll be honest with you, it was one of the scariest experiences of my life. Imagine you don't speak the language, you're not even familiar with their alphabet, and you have the teacher calling on you, and you have 20 plus something eyes looking at you and trying to communicate.
You walk in, you don't know anyone, everybody looks different, they're speaking a different language. It's like, are people looking at me? Am I going to the right place? Am I doing anything wrong? So there is all of that anxiety and that moment of just shifting your brain. Because I remember just going, it was a history class, and then the book was entirely in English. The answer to the question that was supposed to write now essays in English. The teacher was speaking in English, so it takes a minute for your brain to switch and adapt for a second. And it's interesting how progressively over time then the exposure to English starts replacing your Portuguese brain, because it's an interesting shift where when you start to learn, you're still thinking about how to translate words, but then over time it just becomes an extension of your vocab, like it's added to what you already speak.
We would have group projects, and at first she would just let us pick who we wanted, right? And that was at the beginning of the year. Of course, nobody spoke the language, nobody knew much about it, and then eventually we went into working groups with two Spanish-speaking people and then one Creole-speaking person. I think mixing up languages a little bit more, those help students in that way.
It would have been helpful for the teacher to identify that perhaps as a new student to the country and the class and the only student of color, that perhaps they could approach me and ask if I was having any challenges, or even just talk to me so I could feel more confident about it, or just explain the assignment that people could already automatically do out of habit, but it was new to me. So that would have been helpful.
I think what would have been helpful is to have your ELL teacher there. Your ELL teacher, eventually you build this bond with that other person.
That's why I first met Miss Sicky, was in the radio, which she was great. I was still freshly off from Haiti, but she was like a mom to me. Like I was excited every day. I was excited to come to school. Like, oh, I can't wait to see Miss Sicky. To this day, she's my favorite teachers of all times. And just seeing her every day, and it's always just a smile on my face, what she done to transfer me to the person I am today.
There are many things happening in a student's life, not only internally, not only with the family, but also routine life, and it's a change of worlds, it's a change of circumstances, it's a lot that you're dealing with identity-wise, where you're trying to fit in a new country, you're trying to find your place back in your country or within yourself. So take the time to really see what makes that student the person that they are, and don't ask them to read out loud to begin with. baby steps, one day at a time, but don't hold back in creating that platform that really gives that student the opportunity to realize their potential.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.